It was the Air Jordan 1 episode. They got into the Air Jordan, the sneaker deal that was signed, and the kind of commercialism of Michael Jordan and how he became this spokesperson. What I like about Jordan is that when he got tired of what he was doing, it was when he became a role model. And he said in the thing, he said in the doc last night, he never wanted to become a role model. He didn't like the part of this that was being a role model. He liked selling shoes. He liked winning basketball games. Not in that order. It was basketball first, selling shoes second, and if you want him to sell some Gatorade, he'll sell that too. He's fine making money and being in commercials and being like, hey, this guy's really good at basketball. I want to drink what he's drinking. This guy's really good at basketball, and he's in tremendous shape. Apparently, he eats Big Macs because that's what he's eating on these McDonald's commercials. I'm gonna get a Big Mac and a lemon lime Gatorade and wear some of these Air Jordan sneakers, and hopefully I think that's the recipe that made Michael Jordan. Oh, that's just the recipe that pays him the most money? Oh, I see. You know, they talked about one of the most controversial quotes that Jordan had throughout his playing career was when there was a North Carolina political race happening, and they wanted Jordan to get behind the black Democratic candidate, and Jordan wouldn't get behind any candidate because his quote was, Republicans buy shoes too, which I get what he's saying. He just doesn't want to be involved in the world. He doesn't want to announce his opinions on politics or anything else. He wants people to know that he believes that he is the best at basketball, and he is going to now win basketball games. And that's what he wants his public life to be. And I love that. I respect that about Jordan just as much as I respect anything about him. To me, one of the key signs that you are not fit to be a role model is that you want to be a role model. When I'm watching a person, no matter how good they appear to be, and they are enjoying the fact that they're a role model, I go, you are not fit to be a role model. Because I mean, unless you can convince me that you're enjoying being a role model because you just love helping people that much. I don't believe that there's ever been a person who enjoys being a role model that is not enjoying it because of the position that they're put in. Because they have this kind of godlike complex. But that doesn't go hand in hand with being a role model. That's a bad trait to have. It's like being a president, right? You can never trust a person that's running for president because they want to be the most powerful person in the world. Somebody who wants to be that powerful is not somebody that is a role model because they have to be an egomaniac. They have to be. If you want to be a role model, if you are sitting down in your house right now and you're like, what I want to do with my life is I want to be a role model. It's one thing if you want to help people, that's cool. If you want to do something and then you want to help explain to people how you did what you did so that maybe if they want to follow in your footsteps, they can, that's fine. But if you want to be a role model, you have a God complex and you can't be trusted. Jordan didn't want to be a role model. Jordan wanted to be able to be a human being. Jordan wanted to have flaws. Jordan wanted to be extremely good at basketball, but not have to be squeaky clean and perfect throughout every other aspect of his life. But when you start making money, when your face starts popping up on TV, this was the time when Jordan became, I would say, the most famous person, definitely in the country, if not the world. After they go over the Dream Team in the 92 Olympics, yeah, most famous person in the world. And at that point, you now have this other responsibility that you never signed up for, which Jordan had a tough time with, and I don't blame him for. They were talking about his deal with Nike, which was a small company at the time when they signed Jordan. I like that they didn't spend too long on it. As much as I would watch this entire 10-hour thing just about the sneakers, because I know way more about Jordan's sneakers than I even know about Jordan. That's the part of Jordan that I'm most interested in. It's also like this is a documentary about Michael Jordan as a player and the Chicago Bulls as players. If you spend an hour just talking about the sneakers, it's kind of gimmicky, in my opinion. So I like that they just brushed over it and they kept it moving. And if you want a documentary, there is a documentary on Hulu about Air Jordans. And it's great. And you can watch that if you want it to be all about sneakers. But I did like the part that they did about sneakers. I thought it was really interesting. They kept in the good. They kept in the good parts. They said that back then, an NBA sneaker contract was probably about $100,000. They said back then, NBA was much more of a team sport, meaning you didn't take an individual player and turn them into as much of an icon the way you would for golf or tennis. Jordan went in and he was able to get $250,000 out of Nike. That's 150% more than the average sneaker deal was, which is a big deal for a rookie. Converse was the big NBA sneaker at the time. Converse would not sign Jordan. Jordan didn't want to even meet with Nike because Adidas was his brand. He really wanted to deal with Adidas. I'm sure to this day, there was somebody that was watching that scene. The people who work for Adidas today, whatever, it's 30, 40 years ago at this point. I guess, yeah, 35 years ago at this point. Who cares? That was a whole generation ago. Nobody who's working at Adidas today was working at Adidas then. But the people that were working at Adidas then, they're still alive. And they're still sitting there watching this. And they're still sitting there looking at an athlete who revolutionized sneaker sales altogether. And they're going, yeah, that could have been ours. No, I remember. I remember hearing about that and turning that down. I mean, you got to understand at the time, he's a rookie. And it was unheard of that he would get. And he didn't just want a shoe, by the way. He wanted a shoe deal. Nowadays, he wanted a whole shoe line. Nowadays, Kanye West can get a sneaker line. Back then, no way, Jose. He didn't just want the Nike Michael Jordan shoe. He wanted Nike to produce the Air Jordan line. That was what his agent was putting out there. And they did. And that's I mean, to this day, that's why there's Jordan brand and there is Nike. And Nike produces Jordan brand, but Jordan brand is its own brand. It is the business model for Yeezy. And the idea that Yeezy brand exists, Adidas produces Yeezy brand, but Yeezy brand is its own brand as well. And that's what Jordan brand was. And it was definitely the first basketball player, maybe the first athlete to have their own offshoot brand of a bigger brand. But I loved hearing that thing about Adidas and just knowing that they're executives now. Well, they're not executives anymore, but they were working at Adidas going, I know. We could have been there. We could have had him. They showed him putting on his Jordan 1s to play the game that he thought could be his last game at Madison Square Garden. He said, the first game I ever played at Madison Square Garden, I wore Air Jordan 1s. The last game, I'm going to play Air Jordan 1s. He said by halftime, his feet were bleeding. His feet were bleeding because of how far. You're talking about 15 years of sneaker technology. And his feet were used to, the Jordan 14 or whatever he was playing in at the time. But this is, Francesa's on the radio going like, I don't know. I don't think this guy, he wants to win championships. This guy is not committed to winning games. And he's sitting there going, my feet were bleeding at halftime, but I was having a good game, so I wouldn't take off my shoes. It's not even a conversation, do you want to keep playing or not? It's, would you like to change your shoes so your feet don't continue to bleed throughout the second half? No, I've been having a good game with feet bleeding, so I'm going to allow my feet to continue to bleed. It's horribly uncomfortable. But look at the scoreboard. Numbers don't lie. Okay, all right. No, you're probably right. The other thing besides the gambling that I think Jordan was probably afraid people were going to not like him for was his pettiness. We've seen a little bit of his pettiness so far, but Jordan's pettiness came out big time in this week's 2 episodes. I loved covering the Dream Team because I don't think there'll ever be a sports team like the Dream Team, the most iconic team in the history of sports. It's one of the most American things ever. As an American person, I don't know how you cannot sit there and go like, look, we are by far the best in the world at something, and that something is basketball. Even if I don't like basketball, boom, We're the best at it. Look what we've got. Look at this team that we've got. Jordan and Pippen and Magic and Bird. And I mean, it just the list goes on and on and on. Charles Barkley, Grant Hill. I mean, I was looking at those faces and I'm going, if I know those faces, now granted, no pun intended, this is when I was in high school and I went to an urban high school. So, you know, I learned a lot about basketball through osmosis. I learned more about basketball than I did about osmosis through osmosis. However, I was never a basketball fan, but I'm still looking at all these faces like, God damn, look at this team. So needless to say, they win the gold medal. Michael Jordan, as you know, he's got an addiction to competition. Not gambling. He's not addicted to gambling. It's not a problem with gambling. It's competition. Competition, that's all it is. So he wants to win, and he's loyal to his team, whether his team is the Bulls or whether his team is Nike. Reebok cut a deal with the Olympics, and all of the American Olympic athletes were wearing Reebok clothing. And the deal was, look, Michael was like, I'm not wearing this to accept my gold medal. I'm not wearing a Reebok logo on my shirt. I'm a Nike guy. I'm a Jordan guy. I have my own brand. I'll wear an Air Jordan logo on my shirt. Thank you very much. They go, Michael, if you want your gold medal and you want to accept a gold medal with the rest of your team, you're going to wear what we tell you to wear. You're going to wear this Reebok outfit. You can't, I mean, this is it. And they have, I mean, the footage that they have in this thing is incredible. Because keep in mind, this is Michael Jordan, who, when he first debuted his shoes, which technically they haven't talked about this in the documentary yet, but the legend is that he came out with the Air Jordan 1 bread. And that was the shoe that was banned from the NBA. That's not true. It was actually the black and red Airship, which was the predecessor to the Air Jordan 1. But Nike just paid the fine every single game that the shoe was banned. So Jordan is used to figuring out, like, okay, you say I can't do this, but what's the punishment? I'll just suffer through the punishment. They were like, the punishment's going to be you can't take the gold medal. He goes, oh, really? Oh, really? You're not going to let me be part of the gold medal presentation. So they have this footage where he's in a car and he's going like, yeah, these motherfuckers think that they're telling me I can't cover up this Reebok logo. You just wait. You just wait. Yeah, tell them. You just wait and see. So Jordan shows up on the podium. It's brilliant. You talk about all-time pettiness. Boom. The Reebok logo. And he knew, too, of course, Michael Jordan is going to be front and center. Michael Jordan, this is it. This is not only the crowning moment for USA and Team USA winning the gold medal. This is the crowning moment of Michael Jordan, the most famous athlete in the world. That's where the Reebok logo is right there. Michael's just being patriotic. He decides to put the American flag over his shoulder, and it covers up the Reebok logo. He won't just accept when they go, you can't cover up the Reebok logo. He goes, oh, you mean, so you're saying I can't put tape over the Reebok logo? They're going, yeah, no, that's what we said. You can't cover up the Reebok logo. Oh, so I can't just not wear the jacket. No, you have to wear the jacket with the Reebok logo. So I have to wear the jacket. Yes, with the Reebok logo on it. Okay, so when I wear the jacket, the logo has to be on it. They're like, yeah, okay, deal. Boom. Like a petulant child. Reebok logo's on the jacket, I promise you. I just won a gold medal for America. I can't have an American flag over my shoulder? Are you crazy?